Welcome back. Now go play inside. Do the responsible thing. Welcome back. You're live with Expresso. It has been far too long since we have connected with our gaming guru and now author, Gareth Woods. There is so much clearly to catch up on, starting with his book, Go Play Inside, a commentary on what video games can teach us about the game of life. And boy, has he not had to navigate the game of life. You've leveled up, Roo.
Thanks.
Gareth, you look great, dude. You look like you're thriving, which is awesome. Because I feel like we've always got to check in with people after the last year and a half. You were on the verge of leaving the country, of making the biggest life-changing decisions, and obviously everything changed with lockdown, and you were like, I'm just going to write a book. How are you, first of all? How is
well, I think it's obviously in context of, this whole pandemic that's happened, but I think if anything, the book was always there as a seed, and a pandemic, sometimes there's an opportunity, and gave me the opportunity to kind of hunker down, have the time to write. And, 55,000 words later, there was a book.
I mean, you've taught me a huge amount over the years that I've known you, and I remember, I think it was during one of your brilliant kind of the business of gaming forums that you'd set up at a Comic-Con, where my eyes were just opened to how gaming is going to transform the way that we live life. When we look at the revenue that's being generated, the generation that's embracing it. What motivated you to put that? Because all of this has been swimming around in your head, surely, for so long. How do you even start? Does it start with the first word? Does it start with a construct, a mind map? How do you
I think it's always been there. I think a lot of authors will tell you about there's a book inside me, and it's just wanting to claw its way out. But I think the seed for me was conversations I had with other parents who were going, my kids are into gaming, and I don't want to be one of those parents that goes like, you're wasting your time. Go play outside, go climb a tree, because my parents told that to me when I wanted to play cricket or start art or do music. And so I thought there was something there, and it was an opportunity to teach parents that kids are learning so much more from gaming than you think. It's not the marketing stuff of hand-eye coordination and problem solving. There's a lot of other things that kids are learning from playing games, that it's not a waste of time.
I've seen the social element. That's been one area that's really played out and got me excited about the future of my son, because my son undoubtedly is going to be part of that generation. He might fly to another planet based on the skills that he's learned playing games. That's where we've gotten to. If you really want someone to take something out of this, because I know you want it to be an effect-driven project, but it's also about you kind of releasing this into the world and getting it off your chest. What do you hope parents will glean from this?
I think, if anything, it's just about a relatability. I've written this, obviously, as a gamer, but with that kind of Venn diagram sweet spot of being a parent as well. And so while writing that, I definitely had parents and non-gamers in mind. But I think with enough tips of the cap to gamers, that there are a couple of lines here and there that if you're a gamer, you'll read subtext and that I think non-gamers will get. But the purpose of anything was to just have people who don't game kind of get us a little bit better than, because we're not a minority anymore. There's like 2 billion gamers in the world.
Well, I mean, everyone is kind of a gamer.
Fair enough.
Whether you identify with that or not. So for a parent that wants that tool, that is ready, clearly their child is ready they've got to cross that digital divide, so to speak. How do they utilize this book? What's the best way to
I think, if anything, that obviously a bunch of lessons. I can't read through all 14 of them now, but there are a couple of ideas that have come through. And if I give an example of one that I think is quite apropos of the situation we're in, is that the one chapter is called a controller for a reason. And I think it's almost the gamer's serenity prayer, is that you learn when you're playing a game very quickly what's in your control and what's not in your control. You are Mario, you control their movement, but you don't control gravity or the Goombas or the clock or whatever. You only control Mario. And I think that lesson is something that's been, I think, applied over and over and over in different kind of forms. But during this pandemic, I think has helped me as a gamer to go I'm in control of Mario in this situation. There's a lot of stuff that's out of my control.
Can't control immigration.
Yeah, I can't control how long it's going to take people to get vaccinated or whatever. It's really understanding that. And I think what I've done is taken certain life lessons or obstacles and applied a gaming kind of lens to it, to show how, actually gaming has equipped me to answer a lot of these questions throughout my life. But I think I didn't realize it till being 37 and being able to articulate what I had learned as a kid growing up playing games.
I mean, you must be incredibly proud getting to this point. I mean, releasing a book into the world it's got to be...
Feels like being a parent again.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's got to be... How do you get to the point where you're like, okay, this is ready now?
I think that was the hardest part. I've had the advantage of my mom's actually a professional editor, and I think she'd been to like 4th or 5th iteration, and then the patient starts wearing off. She goes, "It's ready.
Just do it.
just pull the trigger." Whereas you're like, "No, we can fix it. We can do X, Y, Z," and yeah, you do reach a point where I guess you realize it has been ready for a while. I think it's like with anything. When I started comedy as well, you thought, I could have done this years and years earlier, but there's that point where you're ready after the book is ready.
Yeah, completely, man. Well, I'm so glad that you put that. I've been lucky enough to plug into your brain for many, many years. I'm so glad that this has been now encapsulated in what looks like an amazing book. I cannot wait to sink my teeth in it, to prepare myself for what undoubtedly my children are going to go through. They're going to live in a digital world that I'm so old. I struggle to find a common ground with, but I'm just so proud of you for doing that, dude.
Cheers,
That's just amazing, man. Well done. It's going to be a banger knowing you, and I'm so glad to see you happy and thriving in these crazy times. So you have an opportunity to, I think, start that journey with your child. It's not about us and them. It's about taking on the fact that Gareth said that most of us are gamers now, and that's the way that the world is moving. But there are some invaluable life lessons, survival lessons, social lessons that gaming can teach us that are just so invaluable. So go play inside.